Well, Bennett Kessler filed this report. Inyo and Los Angeles officials agreed on Tuesday to a proposed resolution of a many years-long dispute over groundwater pumping and plant death on more than 300 acres in the Black Rock Hatchery area, and that's north of Independence. Now, critics say the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power failed to admit that its groundwater pumping did the considerable damage. Supporters say the resolution will mean less pumping, mitigation on other acres, and a finalized legal decision valuable to Inyo County. The Standing Committee of LA and Inyo officials, which includes Inyo supervisors Rick Pucci and Linda Arcularius and DWP commissioners Christine Noonan and Michael Fleming, described how their staff members had gone to work at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to finish the proposed resolution of their disagreements. Now, that proposal, now approved by the Standing Committee, will go to the Board of Supervisors and DWP commissioners for final approval and environmental certification. Now, the proposal would require DWP to perform prescribed burns on around 665 acres of shrub encroached alkali meadows in the Owens Valley, with the idea that they would revegetate. Groundwater pumping from 2 wells at Black Rock would be reduced from 12,300 acre-feet per year to 8,000 acre-feet of water pumped per year. Both sides would agree to a vegetation monitoring process with the Ecological Society of America. Now, DWP and Inyo would agree not to initiate disputes over Black Rock 94 for at least 4 years. And the interim order and award of an arbitration panel on Black Rock would be deemed a final decision. This gives Inyo legal precedence on the way the water agreement works regarding data and other critical matters. Now, the Owens Valley Committee also expressed concerns and a different solution. In a letter to the board, the Owens Valley Committee suggested reestablishment of baseline vegetation conditions by appropriate management of groundwater pumping. The Owens Valley Committee said pumping needs to be, quote, reduced or curtailed, end quote, for water table recovery, which may take many years. The group recommends that active restoration efforts might be needed at Black Rock. Inyo Water Director Bob Harrington and legal counsel Greg James maintain that the proposed resolution of the Black Rock dispute will achieve desirable goals quicker than going forward through the arbitration process, which is the alternative. Now, even if Inyo won the arbitrated dispute, mitigation would go back to the LA Technical Group, which could mean, Harrington said, a long, drawn-out process and possibly another dispute. Greg James called the cutback in groundwater pumping of 4,300 acre-feet, quote, pretty amazing. It's ongoing, permanent in a mitigation, he said. Now the document goes to the Inyo Board of Supervisors and Water and Power Commission for consideration. Well, we're getting information from the Mammoth Lakes Police Department about an incident yesterday. Tuesday at about 5:30 p.m., a report was made to the Mammoth Lakes Police Department regarding a male attempted to get a young girl into his car. The 11-year-old female said she was walking home from the library on Meridian Boulevard at about 4:40 in the afternoon when a man stopped his car and told her that her uncle wanted him to pick her up. When the girl raised her cell phone to call her uncle, the vehicle drove away. Her uncle was the reporting party and denied telling anyone to pick up the child. The suspect appeared to be the only occupant in the vehicle and never got out or touched the victim. Now, the suspect was described as a white male, mid-20s, clean-shaven, wearing large frame dark sunglasses, a black beanie, and a black or dark colored hoodie. The vehicle was described as a black mini SUV similar to a Subaru or a Honda CR-V, newer and clean looking with tinted windows and bearing Nevada license plate. Now, anyone with information is asked to call the Mammoth Lakes Police Department, and that phone number is 760-934-2011 or after hours at 760-932-7549. and a fire in Mammoth over the weekend. Mammoth Lakes Fire Department, Mammoth Lakes Police Department, and Mono paramedics responded to an early morning structure fire at 14 Vacation Place in Mammoth Lakes. First arriving units found the second floor of an approximately 1,800 square foot house fully involved. Neighbors reported that no one was at home. Fire crews quickly extinguished the fire, but the second floor was completely destroyed. Mammoth Fire responded with 2 engine companies, 2 truck companies, and 2 command officers, a total of 24 firefighters. There were no injuries. Now, the press release states that there was substantial destruction to the second floor, which made determining the cause of the fire difficult. It appears that the fire started in an area of an electric wall heater and then spread throughout the upstairs bedroom. No one had been in the house for several days. And a note about the home show. We got the Choo Choo Swap Meet coming up this weekend at the Eastern Sierra Tri-County Fairgrounds. Lone Pine Gem and Mineral Show. Many great activities. Now, also in Bishop this Saturday, the Bishop Police Department will join other law enforcement agencies from throughout Inyo and Mono counties to present the 2014 Law Enforcement Expo. That was scheduled for this Saturday, 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. It will feature equipment displays, kids activities, free educational materials, free child fingerprinting, child safety seat information, and a chance to meet local law enforcement officers. Participating agencies include the Bishop Police Department, California Highway Patrol, Inyo County Sheriff's Department, Mono County Sheriff's Department, Mammoth Police Department, California Fish and Wildlife, Eastern Sierra Peace Officers Association, the BLM, and the U.S. Forest Service. Now, this event is open to the public, and everyone is invited to attend. Well, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service announced that 3 amphibians native to the Sierra Nevada will be given protections under the Endangered Species Act. The Sierra Nevada yellow-legged frog and the northern distinct population segment of the mountain yellow-legged frog will be listed as endangered, and the Yosemite toad as threatened under that act. Now, the final ruling announced the actions is expected to be published in the Federal Register coming up this week, and the final rule will become effective on June 30th. Now, the final rule and associated documents will be available for public inspection, and that is at federalregister.gov, and you'll want to go /public-inspection. Now, the Fish and Wildlife Service said that once abundant, all 3 species have been in decline for several decades and are now found primarily on publicly managed lands at high elevations, including streams, lakes, ponds, and meadow habitats located within national forests and national parks. Now, studies show that populations of Sierra Nevada yellow-legged frog have declined by almost 70%, while the northern mountain yellow-legged frog declined by over 80%. The Yosemite toad faces similar challenges with range-wide declines estimated at almost 50%. The amphibians are spread throughout 17 counties, including Inyo and Mono. Now, habitat degradation, disease, predation, and the effects of climate change are contributing factors to the documented decline of these species and continue to pose a threat to their recovery. Being added to the federal list of threatened and endangered species gives protection to these animals from human-caused impacts that could jeopardize their continued existence, while at the same time providing a means by which they can be eventually recovered and removed from the list. Now, the locally controversial critical habitat designation for these amphibians is a separate issue and is expected to reach a decision early next year. Now, for more on the amphibians, you can go to our website, sierrawave.net. We'll be back with more news.